County. I'd like to welcome all of you this evening and thank you for coming out. Those of you who are voters in Lee County and the candidates, we really appreciate your coming to share your views with voters. Today we will have two candidate forums, one for the Cape Coral male candidates and then following that the city council candidates. This forum is in person and via Zoom. We are recording the forum and the link will be shared on our website and on social media. Recordings of this event may not be used without the express written approval of the league. The league will only allow audio video of the event to be broadcast in its entirety with no editing, altering, or excerpts, except for media recording on this event. For those on Zoom, thank you for participating and please stay muted and use the chat to communicate with us. For those in person, please turn off your electronic devices. The League of Women Voters was formed in 1920. We are a nonpartisan organization that encourages informed participation in government and understanding of public policy issues and influences public policy through education and advocacy. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose candidates or political parties. Information on the programs and issues of the League is available on the web. The League provides nonpartisan educational election information through candidate forums such as this, and also through our online Vote 411 online voter guide. The August 18th primary election is very important in Lee County and especially in Cape Coral. In addition to the Cape Coral mayor and council, Cape Coral ballots include 3 proposed amendments to the Cape Coral City Charter. All Lee County ballots will include a universal primary for Lee County Commission District 5 and nonpartisan races for school board and judicial candidates. Ballots for voters with party affiliation will include their party's candidates. All qualified candidates for mayor and the city council are listed on your agenda and were invited to this forum. And I'm happy to say that I think we have all the candidates here tonight. So I thank you for that. It's very good for all of us to have full participation. And they all, in addition to participating this evening, they have been invited to participate in the Vote 411 voter guide, and that will be online available to all of us starting next week. The 2 primary candidates from each race receiving the highest number of votes in Cape Coral shall be candidates in the city general election. The candidate receiving the highest number of votes in the general election is elected. So, and the mayor and 1 council member from each district are elected by the qualified elect of the city. These are our at-large votes. So all the voters in Cape Coral get to vote for them. We have a moderator this evening who I'll introduce in a moment. The forum questions were selected from recommendations from league members and from the public. The candidates have not been provided the questions in advance. And tonight, unfortunately, due to time constraints, we will not be able to take questions from the audience. We thank each of the candidates for being with us today to explain their policy positions and values so that we can make informed choices. We ask all forum candidates to speak only for themselves and not about their opponents. Before we start, I'd like to thank the many volunteers who helped to make this forum possible. And we do have 2 timekeepers who will be helping us to stay on track, Joyce Campana and Monica Shintani, and they're right in the front. They will be timing the candidates so the candidates will all have the same amount of time. So with that, I would like to present Mary Kay Robbins-Kralip, who will be our moderator for this evening.
Thank you, Sandy. As you can see, we have a little bit of the public library system needs more money. So there's only 3 microphones you're going to have to share. Please. Thank you for joining us for the Cape Coral Mayor and City Council Candidate Forum. I am Mary Kay Robbins-Kralip, a member of the League of Women Voters and your moderator for this evening. Now let's go over a couple of ground rules. This applies to the candidates that are coming up after this as well. Each candidate has 60 seconds for opening remarks, 1 minute to respond to each of the questions that are posed, and 60 seconds to present a closing argument. In addition, there will be yes or no questions for which you can only answer yes or no, no further discussion. The speaking order has been randomly assigned. You're not permitted to discuss other candidates. You can only state your own position. Timekeepers will signal the candidates with colored signs marked 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and stop. Candidates, when you see the stop sign, it means to finish up the sentence you are saying and stop. The audience, please give the candidates who are here a round of applause for taking time to make this business. Okay, great. Now that you've got that out of your system, please hold any additional clapping until the end of the forum. We're going together the candidates for mayor. So let's start with opening statements. First to go will be Lisa Cohen Atkinson.
Test.
Good evening. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lisa Cohen Atkinson. I am a 36-year resident here in Cape Coral, Florida. I have been a watchdog for our community for over 15 years at the lectern at city council meetings. I've been at town meetings. I've been on a couple different committees, and I have been silenced far too long. So this is now my next attempt to make sure that we can afford to live here in the next 5 years, because we're being taxed out of our homes. I have a plan to get, they have made ways, or they have found ways to get around your homestead exemptions, and they have added non-ad valorem to your tax bills that I will be working to fix and get them back on the tax bill and make it a ballot initiative to put anything new on the non-ad valorem to protect each and every one of your Save Our Homes Act for the homestead exemptions. Also, another big thing that I'll be working on is reducing the cost of the UEP. That is a major, major issue that I need.
Next to go will be John.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody coming out today. One of the things that I've advocated over the last 9 years almost that I've been on council, first as a council member, then as a mayor, public safety. That's always been a very important role that I think that we have to make sure that we enhance, and we've done a great job. We've added at least 100 firefighters, 100 police officers. We've got our response times down for our priority 1 calls from the police from 5.5 to about 4.5. Training centers. I've also during that time made sure that we reduced our ad valorem tax as much as possible. When I first got elected, it was 6.75. It's 5.14 now, more than any reduction in any 8-year period of time in the history. And I will continue to try to keep our ad valorem taxes down. Thank you very much.
Richard Erickson.
How's everybody doing tonight? I'm Rick Erickson, and I'm running for Cape Coral Mayor. I have no ties to any construction builders, any contracts. I'm not a lawyer. I have no ties to real estate, and I am not a politician for sure. My biggest thing is I retired out of the military as an Army Special Forces Green Beret Ranger for 32 years. I have 3 daughters that were born here. My family's here, and I want to stay here and make Cape Coral better and affordable again. I think that if we all work together, we can make it better for Cape Coral and ourselves. The taxes are going higher, and our values of our houses are going lower. I'd like to get everybody together, work together, and work to make this a better place to live, be happy. Thank you.
Andrew Leon.
Only my mom calls me Andrew. I feel like I'm in trouble. I'm sorry. Hey, good evening, folks. My name is Rich Leon. It's a pleasure to be here for you today. And really, we had the opportunity to answer some questions recently for the breeze, and it was the main question. I went back and forth with Val because I didn't like my answers. But the very first question they asked is, why in the world did you decide to run again? And it's really a simple belief that I've carried for me when I was on council throughout my entire life, is that government serves the people. It's the very sole entity that actually is supposed to serve us. But as I spread out through the community, not a lot of people feel that they're being served, that they're being helped and worked for our government. And that's why I'm running. That's why I want to be there as your mayor, to really lead that charge to ensure that you are being represented through your taxes, through everything else. I appreciate you and look forward to the discussion tonight.
Dan Shepherd.
Hello, Dan Shepherd. I hope you elect me to be your next mayor. I've been going to council meetings for over 20 years. I'm fully educated on the city and the way it operates. And one of the reasons that I'm running, and I put my name in actually last minute, is a lot of the new candidates I don't think know the job and know the abilities of a mayor. You're one vote. It's not a strong mayor city. But what I'm for is I raised 6 children here. And we have wonderful memories of our life in Cape Coral, and I want to make sure that future families have the same quality of life that my family has had. And I want to protect that. I want to make the right decisions to add value to our community, raise that financial demographic, so that we could be a magnet for more money and more investment. Thank you.
And finally, Cara Rogers.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kara Rogers. I am an attorney, a local business owner, and I own a home here. I kind of got dragged into this kicking and screaming because I bought a house here and then got hit by Hurricane Ian within a couple months of purchasing my home. And then right after that, got my UEP assessment and got involved in organizing the neighborhood, talking to council. Got really frustrated with the response or lack of response that I received, and I decided I could either be mad about it or I could do something about it. So that's what got me into this. I am here to advocate for the people and to try and make the city a better place to live, work, own a business. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for those opening remarks. Now let's move on to some specific questions for the evening. The first question that everybody will be answering the same question. With expensive utility and infrastructure projects in specific areas of the Cape, who should pay for them? All the residents, just the residents in the area where this expansion is taking place, or the developers? First to go is Richard Erickson.
Well, I think we should find a better way to pay for it instead of all the residents. There's bonds, we can get with the Tallahassee, or we can get with the governor or the president, environmentalists. We can find some kind of way to bring this price down, because it's a national thing. It's not just Cape Coral, it's Florida, United States. So why can't we find a better way to pay for this instead of putting it on the citizens that have been here or have bought property here years ago, and then they want to finally hook up to the system, and now they're being charged $30,000, $40,000 a piece. That's way too much money. And why don't we open up a way to find maybe better bidding or new contracts, or find a better way to pay for this instead of putting burden on the citizens? There's got to be a better way. It's not just Cape Coral. Let's get the environmentalists in and everyone else. Let's find a better way. Okay, thank you.
Kara, am I saying that right? Yeah, Kara Richard. Reason I don't go on.
So I think it's a shared responsibility, and I think that we need to have the people who are property owners in the area need to share some of that burden, but some of that burden also needs to be on our city council and the members of our council and our mayor to be looking for alternative funding sources, to be looking for grants, to be looking for ways to lower that price, and to be making affordability efforts. And especially when we're looking at things like we have a hardship deferral program that's accessible supposedly to our lowest income residents, but it's very difficult to actually get into. So I think we need to be working to lower the cost for the residents, increase access to the programs that can help offset the costs, and then educate the people about what is available to them so that we are sharing that burden across our community.
Thank you. John Gunter?
Yes, I think it's very important first to answer your question. 55% of the community already has water and sewer, and the residents who live in that 55% is already paid for it. So I'm not an advocate to change the methodology where we go back and those residents have to pay again. I don't think that's fair. But what I do think is we have to make sure that we find grant money out there. I can tell you that I've personally been to Tallahassee. We've gotten a $25 million grant, a $6.5 million grant, $1 million grant here in the last couple of years. That's because of a team of people, including myself, going up and advocating for those monies. We need to try to find more of those monies. We just was turned down $10 million in state appropriation last week, but we need to make sure that we're working hard, reach out to the federal government and our state agencies to bring that money back so we can reduce the cost for the residents that still need to hook up.
Thank you. Lisa Owen Atkinson.
I would like to start off by saying if the developers did the impact, they should be paying their fair share. Now, as far as the residents, they should be paying what is theirs, but we're talking about dealing with the symptom instead of dealing with the actual problem. And the problem is the amendment that was done to Florida Statute 255.20, where they made it to where the contractors now control how the pricing goes. This made it to where the city employees are not allowed to do any work over $250,000 on the utilities. And as soon as that amendment took place, the price of your utilities doubled. I will be spending my time in fixing that and getting that amendment repealed to Florida Statute 255.20. There's an actual reason for it, and there are people in this room that are the reason why this happened.
Thank you. Andrew? No. Richard?
Now I'm gonna have to change the ballot. Listen, the reality is we have the most conservative council in the city's history spend 4 years by stopping the UEP and studying it. And this isn't 50 years ago, this was 15, 20 years ago. All right, they studied the UEP, they took their time, they tried to figure out what the best methodology was, the best price for you was, and then they came up with the same old, same old. And and really that's what it came down to. You look at, and if you want residents to pay in their share with the North, because that's what we hear a lot when I'm knocking on doors in North Cape, we need to have the taxpayers help us. Well, wait a second, they all paid theirs, it's unfortunate. So there has to be, and we've heard this conversation every time there's a UEP section. So the reality is, when that council a couple of years ago took the stipend, it ruined our relationship up in Tallahassee. We lost the ability to get more funds to help drive the price down. So we're gonna be able to build the relationships, we're gonna be able to fight for that and continue to look for different ways. And if there is different ways, be public about it.
Thank you. And Dan Shepherd.
First of all, I don't agree with people that already paid to have to pay again. That's not fair. And unfortunately, we had a hyperinflation. We're paying a lot more for labor and materials. It's happening with all products, not just the products that are used for the sewer expansion. As far as our city employees working on that, I don't think that's a good idea. We'd have to hire probably a couple hundred more employees and spend millions on equipment, and then our services would decline. And then we would have legacy of keeping all these extra people that are hired on. So am I happy with the price that these individuals had to pay? Absolutely not. And I can tell you, when I was on council, and I'm sure it still goes on to this day, is our mayor and council members aggressively worked on getting money, and this past council has the 25 million plus, I believe, another 6. So everyone is aggressively working as hard as possible. Unfortunately, our council members don't have the ability to control inflation. Thank you.
Thank you. For the second question, what type of development, if any, would you support regarding the future of Redfish Point? Mr. Shepherd, you're first.
This is an easy one. I'm not for destroying any mangroves at all. So if it encompasses destroying mangroves, I'm not for it.
That's all you want to say? Okay. Okay. It's not a yes, no. Richard Leah.
That's good. Hey, I wanna develop it. Wait a second. I wanna develop it into a park, okay? It needs to be something like 6 Mile Cypress. I was able to go there the other day. I took my nephews. Beautiful wildlife sanctuary. That's exactly what we need to do with Redfish Point. Let's turn it and combine it with the Rotary Park that's there now. Let's create a huge environmental resource for our city. We have preserved lands across our city, on the outskirts that we don't tap into, and this is one of them. We need to be able to go in there, let's build some boardwalks by development, we don't wanna clear too much. If you've never been out there, there's great spots, and I laugh with some of the other council members. I tell them, we need to have hammock parks all over the place, and that's a great place to be able. As long as nobody tears down the trees, we should be good. So hopefully we can develop it into a park. We can work with the county, allow them to purchase it through 2020, and really just work in partnership with the county to build that park.
I also think that it should be preserved as is. It is an important, very sensitive environmental resource. We don't need to be mucking with it. We need that resource for the animals that are there, and we also need it for storm protection. So I say, leave it alone.
Thank you. And now we have John Gunter.
Yeah, this is an easy one. I never supported development, Redfish Point. I've also, had the opportunity here the last couple months. I've actually worked with a group of individuals. I know FGCU is, interested in bringing an educational program for environmental research there. And I've worked with, that particular group. I know they're diligently still working on that, but simple answer to the question, no development, leave it as is. Or if we could use it for some educational research, I would support that.
Richard Erickson.
Leo took my answers. I feel the same way. I think it should be a national park, fix some mangroves and get the schools in here, do some environmental studies. And maybe get some college classes out of it for them and make it a nice green space for us, because we need green space and that'd be a nice area to have it. Keep going over there, and if we can plant more trees, we'll do it. If not, just keep it the way it is. That's what we need, something. Okay.
Lisa Cohen Anderson.
This really is one of the easiest questions. It is just leave it alone. It doesn't really need anything at all, just leave it alone. I'm not even gonna waste time because I know we all want to get on with this, so just leave it alone.
Okay, thank you. You guys are making this very easy for me. Appreciate it. This is your first yes, no question, meaning just answer yes, no. Yes or no, do you support a public referendum for council or mayor pay raises? And the first one is Kara.
Yes.
Richard Erickson.
Definitely yes.
Lisa Cohen Atkinson.
Definitely no.
Dan Shepherd.
Yes.
Gunter.
I already voted no for this.
Dan, did you?
Yes.
And finally, Richard.
No.
Next question. How would you cover Cape Coral funding deficits if the proposed property tax reductions are approved? Mr. Gunter, you're first.
Thank you. I think what we're gonna really have to do is, take a look at the budget overall, go to each department and ask them to cut. It's gonna be about a $28 million deficit the first year, about 47 million the second year. We're gonna have to take a look at our reserves that we have now. I think we're gonna have to have a different financial methodology moving forward. That's not something that we have now. So I think we're all gonna have to come together. And as a community, we'll have to come together and try to determine exactly what service levels that we want. And I think that's extremely important. Once we know the service levels, then we can back into how much is that gonna cost us? Where can we cut? Where can we find some monies that we're not gonna have? You have to remember, the ad valorem tax is about 160 million. We're talking about cutting 30%. So I asked you, if you gotta cut your 30%, how are you going to maintain that level that you're used to living?
We would do it.
Thank you, Lisa Cohen Atkinson.
I know when we're asked to cut 30%, we find it, and it's that they keep putting us on top of us. That's why taxes are up 47% over the last 5 years. So it's actually the easiest of the questions because it's just stop spending so much money on pet projects. Cut the fat at the top. We have overpaid employees all over the entire community or all over the city. So there's so much fat at the top. That's where it needs to go. Instead of threatening jobs to the lower end on the jobs here in the community, that's what needs to stop happening. I'm tired of hearing that the employees are going to be the ones that are going to lose their jobs on the lower end, the ones who actually are the foundation of our entire community. That's what needs to stop. Just stop spending money on pet projects. We didn't ask for all this money to keep going out. We started the year with a $40 million surplus, and now we're already $5 million deficit. That's the problem.
Richard? Yeah.
Yeah, listen, the reality is we need to do a few things. First of all, we're spending money in areas that we need to not spend, all right? So we look at the past 4 years, we look at J.C. Park spending $18 million, and we have parks in the north that aren't even broken ground yet. We have the yacht club, which was a complete disaster. When you look at when we could have remodeled it for less than $12 million and still have the facility there. Now we want a Taj Mahal of $200+ million. Then we are looking at Bimini East. When they spend money, and the money that they spent was around 40 million, and I apologize, I don't know the exact figures, don't hold me against it. But when they're talking now about seeing a $20 million deficit from the sale of that, wake up. We are spending money in areas that we don't need to spend. When you have a $40 million surplus the year previously, and you're out there pounding the wall saying that we're going to be short, that doesn't make sense to me. Serve the people.
Thank you. Carol? Hope I get things right soon.
So I'll tell you what I can do now and what I would like to do if I can get support from the state level. So what you can realistically do now is that you can look at what you're going to cut in terms of your discretionary spending, which I think your yacht club project that's already been mentioned is your number one line item budget to be looking at cutting. And then I think you need to look across the board, where are your inefficiencies in your spending? What I would like to do with the state support is to find ways to backfill that gap. Right now, we have preemption at the state level for things like luxury taxes, pied-à-terre taxes, things that could potentially bring money into the community to backfill some of that shortage so that we could still have nice things in our community. We could still continue to develop our community, but right now that's preempted at the state level. So I think it's a two-pronged for me. What I can do now is look at how to make the most with what we have. And then I can advocate at the state level for tax reforms that can help us in the future.
Thank you. And Mr. Shepherd?
I think we're gonna have to steal from a lot of reserves, lower the amount of reserves we have, and then we're gonna have to work with the community and quality of life. And I don't want to offer any taking away quality of life when it comes to public safety. But I would like to say this, that we're hearing a lot about frivolous spending and bad spending. And what I've seen great investment in our city that raise the financial demographic that want to run a lot of money to our community. We are selling houses over $1 million plus. We're bringing a lot of money. We saw a lot of great things being built in our city, expansion of medical, our downtown's finally taken off. And what a lot of people don't realize, if that didn't happen, your taxes would be a lot higher already. Thank you.
Thank you. This is our yes, no question. Yes or no? Do you support increasing citizen public comment time at council meeting? First is Richard Leon.
I'm sorry, will you repeat that?
Yes.
Oh, Rick didn't get a chance to speak. That's what he got.
Then I apologize.
You're thinking about Andrew.
Could you please go?
I also agree with we're spending too much money. I think we should have an audit fund where we can save money. Sorry, so yeah, I think we're spending a lot of money in places we don't want to spend it. There's a lot of community that do not want things built or done, but they're not being listened to, so we need to, find out what that is needed. And, we can find money, we can find out where it's going and cut back. We did lose a lot of money on other projects. Let's focus on that and get it back. I wanna go back to the other question too. I think I made the wrong answer for the pay raise.
Okay.
I don't want a pay raise at all. I don't want that at all. No, and I don't want no stipend or anything like that. I wanna keep it the same. Sorry about that. So yeah, I think we just need audits and find out where the money's going, where it's being spent, and find out where we can cut it. You know, people getting a lot of money at the top, maybe we should cut that back as well. Okay?
Good, that's your 60 seconds. Do you support increasing citizen public comment time at council meetings?
Wait, is this a yes, no question? Oh. Yes.
Dan Shepherd.
Expanding the amount of time?
Yes, increasing citizen public comment times.
I would be for it if we took a count on how many people have speak. Yes.
Thank you. Stuart Erickson. I love this audience.
Yes.
Thank you. Carl,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
and John.
Yes.
All right, guys. Are we ready?
Time's gonna go by.
Question, what incentives and or zoning land use changes, if any, would you support to increase affordable housing for low income and workforce housing? First person would be Lisa.
That should be left up to the private sector. If they want to build homes that are affordable, that should be the case. But of course, the government does play a role here because the role would be in keeping the taxes lower to keep the expenses down on these properties. That would be what I would be in favor of. But as far as government being involved in the housing itself, absolutely not. I don't want government involved in housing. That's when things get bad. That's when we have issues, and I don't want any more issues. We have a beautiful community here. There has been big attempts to try to harm our community, and we need to undo that harm that we have seen over recent years. I want that charm back to our community. I want that character that Cape Coral used to have. That's what I want to see restored for the home that I love and where I raise my children. And we just need to work on bringing the expenses down to get the taxes back down. All of these things make it to where everything becomes more affordable. And that is the affordable housing. That's the only thing that starts with the government, is making sure the tax rates stay low.
Thank you, John Gunter.
Yeah, I think there are some state incentives right now that are in place that I think that a lot of developers could utilize. Unfortunately, they're not too much now. Most of affordable housing typically is multifamily units. And because over the last several years, we have an influx of a lot of multifamily dwelling units. I mean, we have multifamily dwelling units today that are the projects that just got finished that are still sitting empty. So I think there's some apprehension with the developers, but I think we should be able to work with them and try to enhance those state incentives. Also look at some federal incentives so we could have these type of developments. These are teachers and nurses and firefighters. You know, in my era, affordable housing meant a whole different other definition. Today, it's your teachers, your nurses and your firefighters. So we need to be able to help them.
Thank you, Dan Shepherd.
I think the government should stay out of this one and let the market decide. And as for the other question, I didn't hear it properly. I'm not for a raise. I'm happy with the income that's offered with this position.
Okay. Richard Leon.
It's the private sector duty. What the government needs to do is get the hell out of the way. It doesn't make sense to me when somebody coming to apply for a permit, one, it takes a long time. Two, when they finally get their permit, they have an inspector come out, tell you one thing, couple weeks later, the next inspector tells you a different thing. And then a couple weeks later after that, the other inspector wants you to do what the other inspector told you to do. It doesn't make sense. These are problems that happen across our city. If you wanna make housing more affordable, if you wanna make a environment, an atmosphere that creates jobs, get out of the way, cut the red tape, loosen everything up, and then make sure that, you know, again, government's there to make sure that there's a good thing in place. But there doesn't need to be this back and forth going different opinions from the same company, which is the city of Cape Coral, saying that we're doing it wrong. Just get out of the way, government.
Richard Rogers.
So there are existing incentive plans at the state level, but the Cape could incentivize further, and I think we should incentivize further, focusing on the lower level or more aggressive affordable housing plan. Because right now, at the state level, it's 120% of area median income, which is still pretty high in Cape Coral. That's a pretty high earning family. We could focus on building the 60 to 80%, which I think would target more of our actual citizens and the people who really need help in this area, and provide additional incentives such as density and rezoning assistance in order to make more affordable workforce housing.
And Richard Harrison.
So let's face it, anytime the government's involved, it's more expensive and there's a lot more problems. Let's get the government out of what we're doing and let's community build and decide. What's happening is we've all seen government buildings and stuff that they get involved in. It's not good. When we cut back on the impact fees, all the building permits, like I said, all the inspectors going back and forth. One inspector comes one day, another one a different day. And they got to get on track so that we cut back on the spending. We don't have to send 3 or 4 different inspectors over. We won't have to spend that money. I know of one guy that, like I bring back, he had to spend $1 million to fix his house because he built some condos and it was 6 inches lower than it was supposed to be after it was already inspected and passed. He was doing it final and made him redo it. He had to add concrete to the floor to make it up to code again because 3 different inspectors came and passed it. The last guy came and failed it. So we got to keep the government out of it, okay?
And this will be your last question. And then you will have your closing statements. What actions would you take to reduce insurance costs for Cape Coral homeowners and to increase the resilience of our city? We're going to start with Lisa.
I get to start a lot. I like it. Okay, so first thing that I would say is that there is what we have the CRS class. And that would be something that we could totally focus on to make sure that we can bring the home insurance down by improving certain things within our community with our response to hurricanes and storms in general. Even with barriers, maybe even raising up seawalls, we could be doing something like that. That would also help with raising or lowering the flood insurance and the homeowners insurance. There, obviously, we need to be able to open things up to, fair market with our, full for cap, for full, I forgot the word that I was just going for. I apologize, but for free market in general, so that we can bring more of the insurance companies in. But I do have a thing when it comes to the insurance companies. When they leave, they shouldn't be allowed to come back in. That I think was a big one. That was something that Charlie Chris did after Hurricane Charlie, that I actually agreed with him on. There weren't a whole lot of things I agreed with him on, but that was one of them I really did agree. And it's not just a changing of the name. So that was another one of the issues.
Thank you. Richard Erickson.
How many people are still rebuilding their house after Hurricane Ian? I know I'm one of them, and my family's did it as well. We had UPC insurance, hurricane came, and then they filed bankruptcy. So everything's out of pocket. And then FIGA took over, which is a government organization, and 2.5 years later, they come out and said, hey, everything looks fine. It's not, it's still messed up. So they shouldn't be allowed to go out of the file bankruptcy and leave, come back and change their name. We have to do something about that. There's a lot of people still trying to finish the house and working in. So we have to find some ways to do that, and government assistance, but FIGA didn't help out at all. They're still messing themselves up. So we have to find a better way. Lower the insurance. If they can't support it, then they need to be fined or have some kind of money put in the bank to back it up.
John Gunther.
Yeah, one of the things that I worked on is making sure our fire department got accredited. And the reason that was so important is because one of the other things that came along with it was our ISO rating went down. And that is a direct reflect to the insurance rates that we pay. We're an ISO rating of 2. There's only about 103 municipalities throughout the country that has an accredited fire department ISO rating of 2. So that's one thing that we can do. The other thing, the CRS rating, we can work on that to bring those rates down as well. That's what we can do at the city. The only thing we can do at the city. But what we can do is advocate at the state for insurance reform. We have to do it. You know, the cost of homeowners insurance and flood insurance, that alone is driving people out of homes. So we need to be able to help with that and advocate at the state level to have that reform that we all need. Thank you.
Dan Shepherd?
Like I said earlier, when it comes to cutting time, we have to be careful where we cut because there's areas like public safety that if we cut, they'll raise our insurance. Response times are very important to what we pay for our homeowners insurance. And another thing that I would never do is get rid of our inspectors and our quality of construction in our city. We need to have quality construction. We need to advance the construction and learn new methods that are better and more resilient in storms. That's what lowers our rates. Thank you.
Richard Leo?
Yeah, our hands are tied at the city level for the most part. When you talk about public safety, we need to make sure that, you know, we continue to have the safest city in the state, in the country. We need to make sure that we have the after storms, our response is advocated through council, to the staff, making sure that they're out there doing what they need to do. Most importantly, training continuously throughout the year for what we have in disasters. And we did that with FEMA in 2016. So those, no. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Right, Andrew's next. He's a little crazier. So when you look at our, I'm sorry. Oh, we all are, so that's okay. So, I mean, the reality is our responsibility is to ensure that we're building relationships with the state, allowing the voice of the people in our cities to be heard in Tallahassee and in Washington, D.C., to make sure it's not falling on deaf ears, that people are hurting, especially when it comes to insurance. Thank you.
Wow. Tara?
Yes, 4 minutes.
6 times 1.
So at the local level, what we can really do is focus on SCRS rating. We actually really have a good CRS rating already. We're at a level 5 and we are working towards a level 4. We have a plan in place already. So we just need to be focusing on that at the local level. At the state level, what we can do is we can advocate for insurance reform. One of the things that I have identified as a potential area to look at is the pullouts from citizens. We have had a lot of insurance companies that have gone in, they pull policies from citizens, and then they go bankrupt, which is what one of the other candidates here had mentioned before. So we need to have stronger resiliency requirements, stronger reserve requirements for those insurance companies that are going to pull out from citizens to prevent that from happening.
Thank you. This concludes the questions for the evening, and now we're going to go to closing statements. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to make their closing statements, and we begin with Dan Shepherd.
Like I said earlier, I'm passionate about the community. I want to make sure our quality of life isn't altered. I'm someone who has been an entrepreneur my entire life. I've owned many different businesses, and I have the experience. I've been working and going to council meetings for over 25 years, plus I was a council member. And I will think thoroughly before making any decisions on any kind of cuts. Like I said earlier, you have to be careful. You can cut in places that raise your costs in other places. So, you know, I think we can do it as a community, and I want to be part of it. And also, we need to add some salt and light in our community. I'm not really liking the hate that's going on. Hate does not do anything positive for our community. It doesn't be a magnet for new investment. It hurts us, and want to be an advocate for everybody just loving and caring for their neighbors and working together. Thank you.
Richard Leo?
Thanks. Andrew's sitting down. You know, government, again, it serves us best when it listens and works for the people. You know, the entire reason why I'm up here, the entire reason why I want to be your next mayor is I want to serve you. I want to be able to have a servant's heart, to be able to listen to you, to bring back ideas from the community into City Hall, to be able to make sure that the spending is being brought down and being spent wisely, to really just focus on ensuring that you have a voice of this city and for this city. I can't wait. I'm excited. There's a lot of things that we have to do. There's a lot of things that we are going to be focusing on. You know, we look at the homestead exemption and there's a very real possibility that that gets forward. And if it does move forward, we need to be ready. We need to be focused on what the budget is, what the government is actually doing, and work with the residents to ensure that the government is serving us the way we want it to be served. I appreciate you. I'm asking for your vote August 18th. And if you want to talk to me more after, please reach out to me. We have some folders and stuff up there, and take a look, and hopefully we'll, you know, talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa Cohen.
I just wanted to talk about my North Star. My children are my North Star. I have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old. He just turned 11 today, so I can't wait to get home to spend his birthday with him. And I'm thinking about the $1.1 billion in debt that we're leaving behind for our children. This is probably the scariest thing as a mom when you're thinking about what you're leaving behind for your family. The status quo, I'm tired of hearing there's nothing we can do. I'm over here working on solutions. I'm talking about what we can do to lower costs for the families that are struggling today, that are seriously concerned of how they're going to put food on the table each week. That's who I'm worried about, because people matter more than government. I would like to invite everybody to our UEP town hall that we're going to be hosting on the 16th at Diplomat Wesleyan Church. I do have flyers on the counter over there. I would love for you to come. I would love for you to bring people that are being affected so that we can go over step by step how this has been put in play.
And now,
So I said earlier, I'm an attorney. A lot of people think that the biggest part of being an attorney is knowing the law. It is absolutely not. It is about knowing how to dissect a problem, where to look, where to find things, where to challenge incorrect assumptions, how to review a document, how to pick it apart. That is what we need from our leaders. We need leaders who are going to go in and they are going to dissect the problems and they are going to find out what is at the core so that we can fix them. We can talk all day long and give surface level answers about how we're going to reduce taxes and we're going to make the city better. But the question is, can the candidate actually deliver on that? Do they have the skills to actually make a difference in the community? I do that day in and day out, and I think that that is what makes me a good candidate. I hope you agree and will vote for me on August 18th.
thank you, Richard Erickson.
100% correct. We need leaders here. I want to bring my 32 years of leadership in the military, serving all over the world, sitting down with village elders and warlords and discussing how to rebuild their community, how to rebuild their infrastructure, and how to make the community better, how to build hospitals, how to build churches, how to build houses, and make their community better. That's what I want to bring here, okay? We need to get with the community. We need Overwatch committees to work with each other. It's not just one person. I'm one vote, okay? There's 7 other council members. It's a team effort. It's a community effort. We can't work together. It's not going to happen. If we're in a meeting and no one's listening to the community, what kind of community is that? Okay, a leader is supposed to lead. We haven't seen that too much. Okay, we have to empower everyone else to give their decisions and make it happen. Okay, it's a teamwork. I'm willing to bring that leadership to this community. I'm stepping up. I don't have another job. I'm retired. I'm not going to focus on anything else but this community. And that's why I'm doing this, because I have children here and they have children here. And I want them to have a good community.
Thank you, Mr. Gunter.
I didn't hear the bell.
Thank you very much. Public safety has always been my top priority, and I think my record speaks for itself when it comes to public safety and the great strides that we've made over the last 9 years. Also, infrastructure. This year alone, we're going to invest about $600 million and our infrastructure, we have to plan for the future. We're a pre-platted community. We're gonna be 400,000 people, whether we like it or not. That's how we were designed. That's what pre-platted means. We have to make sure we're ready. I think I've made decisions that we plan for the future. We bought a reservoir for our irrigation water and our water quantity that we need. We got the Calusa pipeline that we are bringing over for more water. So we have to have clean water. I was here during the water crisis, and we don't want to go back there again. So there's a lot of things that we got to continue to work on. We're a great community, but we have to plan for the future, especially since we're only about 55% built out. Experience matters,
Thank you.
and I'll make sure that we continue to grow.
Hey, we really appreciate the candidates for mayor coming up and doing this. It's now time to switch out for the candidates for the council, please. Thank you. Yeah, we all settled in. Timeline here. Can you please sit down, please? No. I know you guys don't want to talk to people outside. Hey, guys. Okay, please, I'm going to talk. Thank you very much. We're gonna start. Okay, this is great. I'm gonna really work on names. Okay. Let's start with our opening statements. Candidates, you have 60 seconds. And the first speaker will be LWVLee there.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Dave Newton. I'm running for Cape Coral City Council District 1. I'm a wartime veteran. I served during Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I was also deployed to Haiti for Operation Uphold Democracy for humanitarian peacekeeping efforts. I also received the National Defense Service Medal, the Air Force Outstanding Unit Award, and the Air Force Good Medal of Conduct. I was also an airman recorder. Also a retired police officer with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, where I served my community for over 23 years, received 2 medals of valor. So I'm a firm believer in public safety and protecting our neighborhoods. I also think our infrastructure needs to be definitely developed to keep up with growth. And I believe in transparency. Open door policies are a foundation for good government. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Shabra.
Hi, Tom Shadrack, District 1. I have a 37-year career at the Boeing Company. I was a program manager for a program for $1.5 billion with 500 employees. It was program management, so I can oversee our city manager and how he does things. That's holding accountability. I'm all for affordability in our city. I have a master's degree in finance. I look at our budgets for the last 7 years, very concerned with our spending. I mean, we have 22% growth in population, but we had an 82% increase in the last 5 years in our 3-legged stool of taxes. So we need to be affordable, we need to be safe, and we need our infrastructure, roads and water improvement. I am for those 3 main points, and I would appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Jeffrey Huddleston.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey Huddleston. I'm running for City Council District 6. Better, hey. I am running, I'm 30 years in emergency service, fire, EMS, air medical. I also did, funeral directing, embalming, and deputy coroner up in eastern Kentucky. I come down here 12 years ago, loved what I've seen. This is a great opportunity here to live, to enjoy. But then the first 2 months since I've been here, I've seen a lot of things happening that shouldn't be. So it's time for me to be the voice of the people, and let's get this thing back where it was. Thank you.
Raymond Muley? You have to share the microphone.
Hi, Ray Muley. I'm running for City Council District 6. I'm retired from a 40-year business career across financial services, technology, and real estate as a vice president and as a broker. I've never been a politician or a career government service employee. I believe voters deserve transparency to know candidates' priority, who financially supports their campaigns. My campaign is personally funded, along with some individual donations. I've not taken any money from city vendors, PACs, or other special interest groups, so I'll come into office without any IRUs or strings. My top 3 priorities are accountability, financial discipline, and smart growth. First, we need to restore trust in City Hall. Residents deserve transparency, accountability, and leaders that listen. Second, we need to protect taxpayers. Every dollar should be treated with respect. Third, we need to manage growth responsibly. Growth will continue, but infrastructure and public safety must keep pace. I'm running to work for the residents of Cape Coral, not government, not the insiders, and not politicians.
Stop. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Annette Warren. I'm running for Cape Coral City Council District 6. I'm a 40-year resident. I'm also an Air Force veteran, and I've raised my family here. When I got out of the Air Force, I needed a purpose. And Donna Germain, who happens to be our chamber president at the moment, said, why don't you come work for the chamber? Because I didn't have a purpose. And because I've always just kind of given back to the community. I feel more comfortable when I'm serving people than anything else. So I have a lifetime of serving this community through the Chamber of Commerce, through the Historical Museum, and also I've helped out with Kiwanis and Rotary and with my children's school. So service before self is kind of my tagline, not just the Air Force tagline. And I really hope that you guys choose me for your next District 6 City Council member. I've educated myself and I'm ready to serve.
That's it. Guys, really do stop when it says stop. Jennifer Nelson Lastra.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jen Nelson Lastra. It is my absolute honor to currently serve as your District 4 representative. I've been back on for 2 years now, and the last 2 years have been a wild ride. But I will say the difference is my eyes are wide open. My ears have been wide open. I have friends around the old golf course. I see every morning Mr. Earl, Mr. Scott, Miss Marie. I walk around. They yell at me about the medians and how they're overgrown now, the brand new medians. But I just want you to know that leadership isn't new to me. I've served for 30 years as a servant leader, nonprofit background. I currently am the executive director for Dress for Success. I work with women every single day who have just incredible stories and incredible backgrounds. And to be able to serve our city and help people like the women I serve every day is kind of my purpose. It would be an absolute honor to hear from you. If you need anything, you can always reach out. I speak to residents daily. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Sean Hartman.
So my name is Sean Hartman, and I am running for one reason and one reason only, to serve you guys on the city council, to serve people in Cape Coral on city council. I think that's the common theme that we're seeing here with a lot of people running today. And I hope you take the time to look into them and research all of us and choose the candidate who will best serve you on the city council, because that's what it's all about. I have a unique background compared to the other people in this race. I work in customer service, listening to people's problems and solving their problems. And I know there's a lot of residents here in this city who feel like they're not getting the best customer service from their city government. So I'm running to bring my customer service experience to the Cape Coral City Council. So I won't take too much of your time because I know we have so many people up here, but I just want to say my name is Sean Hartman. I am at your service. www.seanforcapecoral.com.
Thank you so much. Thomas Senator.
Hey, my name is Thomas Center. I'm running for District 1 City Council. I'm a 29-year resident of Florida, 22 years here in Cape Coral, 7 years in my district. So when I left the Marine Corps, I ended up working with different companies that did infrastructure, large construction, development, and I have a very vast experience doing that. I also worked several years as a paralegal in a law firm where we learned how to do research on contracts, which is one of the things that I could bring to the table. We need people that can actually read these contracts, understand them, and not just approve them. So my job is to go and work for the people, because we need to have a government for the people, by the people, and not have them ruling over us. We need to listen. And a lot of things that I've done before is I've actually helped people. Just a quick example is I helped just some lady today. She was walking over for her regional radiology. Anyway, so it was pouring raining and she was with a crutch. So I ended up walking with her in the rain because there's nobody there with her. That's what I'll do for the people. I will be there with you and walk with you. Thank you.
Thank you. John Vargas.
James Vargas.
No, I would have
That's
to.
awesome.
You're right.
Hello, my name is James Vargas, and thank you for having me here this evening. We're at City Council District 4, and yeah, I'm the new kid on the block. I've been here, everybody has like this vast history here. I've been here for 3 years. But I came to assimilate and be a part of the community. And the reason why my wife and I moved here is because before that, we had courted many cities, from LA to Miami to Jersey, and we ultimately ended up in Cape Coral to start the next chapter of our life. And that was 3 years ago. Over the course of these 3 years, the one thing that we fell in love with not only the beauty of Cape Coral, obviously, you know, the weather, you got the palm trees, but most importantly, the people, the community. But outside of that, it was the affordability. What I've noticed over the last 3 years is that affordability is slipping away. As I see houses being foreclosed on, that's someone's American dream that slipped out of the grasp of their hands. Every time I see that a senior entering the workforce, it's another American dream that has slipped away. What I'm here to do is to shake up the foundation, get rid of the status quo, bring and have a new fresh perspective. I've seen corruption, but I've also seen, thank you.
Thank you. And Lisa King.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for joining us. My name is Lisa King. I've lived in Lee County my entire life. Lee County native, have spent the majority of my life right here in Cape Coral. At some point, I've lived in every quadrant of Cape Coral, so I understand the unique needs of each of the areas as they range from southwest to northwest and how differently those needs are. My focus, I've had a lot of lofty goals, but the reality is that we need to focus on 3 things, and that's infrastructure, protecting our public safety, and increasing our economic development so that we can build that commercial tax base and offset the residential tax base. Currently, we're at about a 92.8% ratio, and we need to increase that. I am here to earn your support and your vote on August 18th. Thank you.
Thank you. James Vargas, the first question. What type of development?
Oh, Engelson. You just forgot to show Engelson, yeah.
Sorry.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Ingrasano, and I'm candidate for City Council in District 6. And there's a lot more on CapeCoralVotes.com, CapeCoralVotes.com. I'm a homeowner with over 20 years experience in the marketing department for a company that was doing $2 billion per year. And I answered to the owner once a week to see how my numbers were doing. I'm a taxpayer who's fed up with the status quo of wasteful spending and out of control growth. I'm running because Cape Coral deserves better fiscal responsibility, smart growth, and putting residents first. Yes, broadening the tax base. No developer or contractor favorites, no insider deals, just common sense leadership that protects our neighborhoods, fixes infrastructure, supports public safety, and keeps taxes in check. I believe the government should work for the people who pay the bills. I'm asking for your vote so we can restore accountability and build the thriving, affordable Cape Coral we all deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Vargas, what type of development, if any, would you support regarding the future of Redfish Point?
Leave it alone. I mean, I agree with 100%. All the mayors up here just gotta leave it alone. You don't need to be developed any further. You know, we need mangroves. We have a big problem at the Seven Islands with some of the mangroves, and we understand how pertinent those are to our, to the survival of the city. You know, the sediment, there's nutrients that get flooded into the water. On top of it, it's a whole ecosystem of our animals. So we have enough overdevelopment of certain lands, and you know, there's talks of other preserves being developed. So let's keep what we have, because it is beautiful just the way it is. And that's one of the other things that made me fall in love with this great place, is that what's natural preserves, and have what it feels to be the authentic for it, and not something that's concrete jungle like where I came from, or even like New York or other places. Thank you.
Jennifer Nelson Lastra.
Thank you. Hello?
Put it way close.
Hello. Thank you.
Yeah, y'all want me to sing. I've never supported doing any development at Redfish Point. Mangroves are crucial for shoreline erosion. I learned that when I spent a year and a half working out on Captiva. They are crucial. Shoreline erosion is a real thing, and we need to protect our shoreline as much as we can. Mangroves do that. I love the idea of having a local university come in and put an educational kiosk there, similar to what we have at Rotary Park and the old Lookout prior to Ian taking that out. I would love to see something like that, because I think educating our visitors and our youth is really important for the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you. Joseph Agrisano.
Leave Redfish Point alone. The mangroves, as we know, after getting destroyed at the Seven Islands project, are a very, very important part of our ecosystem here in Florida. Redfish Point as an educational opportunity is a win-win-win. That's a great idea. I'd love to see that happen. Leave Redfish Point alone. The more natural spaces we have, the better the city is, the better off we are as a city.
Thank you. Thomas Shadrack.
Yes, Tom Shadrack, Redfish Point needs to be left alone. What we don't listen to enough is the neighbors in the area. And they don't want it. They've lobbied hard and long about leaving it alone. It's their protection from development. Just like J.C. Park was not listened. 8,000 people. That was a neighborhood park. They didn't want to change. They liked the way it was. I'm sure they would have liked some improvement. But now we're all in debt for $18 million for that park. We haven't even paid for it yet. But the neighbors didn't even want it. So that's a problem. Redfish Point needs to stay as it is. The neighbors in that area don't want it. It's that simple. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeffrey Hulse.
Well, basically, you know, everybody's gonna say leave it alone, but as a redneck country boy, you can tell the city people from the country, leave it alone. Let's have our wildlife here. Let's enjoy the wildlife. We have so many things being developed and so many things that's being destroyed that the wildlife is leaving or dying off. Redfish Point is the perfect spot to keep things alone. For at least, I mean, come on, guys. If we allow the city to start doing things and not listen to the public, we'll have nothing but a concrete city. There'll be no trees, no mangroves. We'll have flooding all the time, and we don't need that. So let's just leave it alone.
David Newton.
As like everybody else here, we're not gonna support development of Redfish Point. I would not vote for that. I think, like everyone else says, we need to leave it alone. We need it for our future, our kids, our generations to enjoy the green space. A lot of you guys know, like they said, the mangroves help protect the shore erosion. With king tides and everything else, if anybody lives in the yacht club, you know now king tides are actually coming over normal seawalls. So sea levels are rising. We need that protection. So I say leave it alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Raymond Hewley.
You, once again, we should leave Redfish Point alone. The bottom line is, there is protection down there. It is beautiful. We should preserve what we can as far as the wildlife. Learning, education would be a phenomenal thing in that park. And we should look at Conservation 2020 and see if we can get the county, the state, put some money up in terms of trying to preserve that land. I think that would be the best thing that we can do down there.
Thank you. Thomas Senator.
Thank you. So here's one of the different ones about that. I'm on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I'm the vice chair this year. And it actually came up before us and it got pulled at the last second. And I was a definite hard no, just like Yellow Fever Creek when it came before us, when they wanted to take the preserves there. I was definitely a hard no. So I'm against it completely. Thank you.
Guys are making this easy. Lisa King.
Thank you. We must protect Redfish Point. Not only is it the environmentally correct thing to do, but it's also a safety issue. It's what's protecting us from flooding. And if we want to look at insurance rates and what we can do to make our community more resilient, we absolutely must protect and preserve Redfish Point.
Thank you, Sean Hartman.
By the way, this mic's battery's dead. But so yes, leave it alone. But I want to add to this real quick because it's important that you guys know and understand this. We had something that was passed a few years ago in Tallahassee called the Burt-Harris Law. This is, to not go into too much detail, ties the hands of city council with a lot of development, which is why unfortunately a lot of development tends to get rubber stamped. I do believe that the Zemel Trust may try to do that, try to use the Burt-Harris Law to get Redfish Point. I don't think they have a case though, because like Lisa said and others have said, that is not just an environmentally friendly area, it's protecting us from the hurricane. And we just need to look across the pond to Punta Rassa and see what happened there during Hurricane Ian, to see what could happen there. So not only, we need to understand that if we say no to this, the Zemel Trust will most likely sue us. And we need a city council willing to take that on. I am absolutely willing to take that on. I also believe that we needed to take that on with J.C. Park as well. We should have sued to try to stop that when we got on there. So thank you.
Thank you. Annette Warren.
We should leave it alone. The mangroves, of course, are definitely important. It helps to prevent flooding. I don't need to repeat everything else that everybody just said here. I attended FGCU. They had us take a colloquium class. Colloquium class means that you learn about the environment in Southwest Florida. And in that class, I learned so much about our mudflats. I learned about our mangroves. I learned about the ecosystem. It's so important to keep that safe, and I am 100% fully behind that.
Thank you. This is your first yes/no question, so you can only answer yes or no. Please, no commentary. Do you support having the city advisory committees or institutes? The citizens advisory committees, do you support having the citizens advisory committees again? So the first one is Lisa King.
Yes.
Thomas Salvatore?
Yes.
Salvatore, sorry. Raymond Yulee.
Yes.
John Hartman.
Yes.
Jennifer Nelson Lastra.
Yes.
Joseph Avrisano.
Yes.
Jeffrey Huddleston.
Yes.
James Vargas.
Yes.
Annette Warren.
Yes.
Thomas Shadrach.
Yes.
David Newton.
Yes.
Thank you. Next question. What do you consider the appropriate way to pay for the utility expansion projects in Cape Coral, considering current residents on utilities and residents who are not? And the first person is Jennifer Nelson Lastra.
Thank you. So this is where your relationships, your consensus building, your collaborations are very integral and important. The individuals that can assist us with this are on the state level as well as the federal level. In fact, on my way over here, I was on a call with one of the District 19 congressional candidates and educated her on this. And I told her, we are right now at the risk of losing FEMA money that was promised to us, promised to our county, promised to our city, that we're going to be utilized and voted on by the prior council. They decided this, which was a great idea, to utilize them on key core infrastructure projects. We're at risk of losing those dollars. So that's where your relationships, consensus, and going to Tallahassee and going to DC annually to get the $4 million we got from Congressman Donalds. And as I believe our mayor stated earlier, we didn't get anything from the state legislator. So that's important. But no, I've already paid my utilities, and no offense, I don't want to pay
I don't want anybody else's. Thank you.
Joseph Everson.
UEP. The UEP, I'm obviously Northwest Cape Coral, so I'm ground zero for the UEP project. As stated before, state, federal, local funds. It is a job, from what I can see, from the 20 years or so of this project, the snowball has rolled downhill until it got so big. Consecutive councils, mayors, city managers have looked the other way while it became a burden that cannot be met by a huge amount of the citizens here, including the senior citizens who are now thinking of moving out and selling their homes because of the UEP. We have to look at it. We have to find the funds. It's not going to be easy. We've all mentioned coordination. The entire city council, the mayor, we have to work on finding alternative funds. And potentially, one of the things I'm thinking of is senior citizen relief. 65, 70 years old, something that we have to find the funds to help the senior citizens. Thank you.
Thomas Shadrack.
Thank you. One thing about getting into the budget and knowing what's going on is that the current residents do also support the UEP that are on water. $40 million of each of the 3 UEPs that are going is funded by your water bill. So we're still paying a third of our water bill goes to capital projects. They're already building reserves for the new waste treatment plant in the north, expanding their RO plant in the north is hundreds of millions of dollars, and those funds are already being raised through our water bill. So we are participating. I do feel for the UEP, people that are paying the brunt of it, the 35,000, and I'd be really questioning how we didn't get any money this year. What kind of lobbyists do we have that did not help us get funding? How do we go from 25 million to 6 million to 0? I'd be challenging what they're doing for us that we're paying for. Thank you.
Ned Warren.
So our relationships in Tallahassee and with our state is so important. We didn't get any money for whatever reason, but it's because we don't have a good relationship with the state. I really want to hire a government liaison that will be in on what bills are being passed and developing the relationship in the state, because going up once a year, as I have been doing, I've been advocating already for Cape Coral every year, going up to Tallahassee with city council and trying to get that money for our city. Once a year isn't enough. We need to have consistency in Tallahassee to get grants and that funding, and actually have relationships and talk to our officials more than once a year. Thank you.
Lisa King.
Thank you. So when it comes to UEP, we need to look at the fact that the reason why we're where we're at today is because the project was delayed. So it's not a matter of whether it should happen or not. It has to happen. And the reality is that relationships matter. We must work with our state and national partners, and I have those relationships. I failed to mention and give you my background as I started, but I have served the judicial state courts, and I have relationships on a state level, on a county level, and on a federal level to bring that money back home to Cape Coral. And that's what we have to fight for. We have to work on those relationships and ensuring that the money comes back here. We also need to work closely with our developers, as we have, and expand on that. And I've started doing that, to ensure that the costs are shared. So when these projects go in, such as a project that's going in our district, District 6, those developers have a vested interest in ensuring that we improve our roads.
Thank you. James Fargus.
Yeah, so with the UAP, it's kind of a messy situation. And I really do feel bad for the people that have to, as they say, cut the check or add another assessment to their bill. But nonetheless, it's here. It's evident that it must be done. But there's got to be ways that we can. This project is the biggest in the United States. This is Al Gore's wet dream. And there's no reason in the world that if we have our grant writers, we have people that, we have our lobbyists, and we should be able to get federal funding, state level funding in this project and maybe cut the cost to the people that need it, you know? Obviously, I love the idea of bringing the work in-house because we do have skilled workers and understanding that when we outsource anything, we outsource at a premium. We pay a lot more to other companies, so why not hire the staff that's skilled enough to do the work or build the shops or provide the equipment so that we have longevity and we can continue to develop our city. And like I said, keep everything in-house, add more jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Senator?
Thank you. So I was under the impression though that we did get $10 million on the last MVP. So that was one good thing. But the problem is it's two-pronged, right? So the first part is we're getting these contracts, we're getting these RFPs coming in, request for proposal, and they're going looking at them and they're going to approve one of them. Well, the problem is you don't have to approve one. You could just deny them and get a new set. If we just keep paying top dollar, that's going to be a problem. And if we're going to go and try to push that on the residents, I live in District 1, we're not going to pay it. We already paid it. So I paid mine full. So we can't do that. So the goal is we got to do better on the contracts. We got to ask questions. That's something I'm very, very good at. Asking questions, getting to the bottom line, find out who's going to do the best job. Thank you.
Thank you. Sean Hartman?
So, piggybacking on what everyone said, I do believe that we need to look at, it does need to be a responsibility of the homeowners in the area to be fair, but looking at different grants, and like Jen and others have said, you need to be able to build those relationships. And I have built specifically with Tallahassee officials, I've built those relationships over the years. In fact, I was in Broward a few weeks ago, meeting with legislators who don't even represent us. It's not enough to just have a good relationship with the Lee County Legislative Delegation. I had an opportunity to meet with Representative Juan Porras over in Miami and a few others in the area, because we need to make sure we have a coalition of people that we have a relationship with to get the things that we need, particularly with UEP. We also need a congressperson who would be committed to bringing us earmarks from the federal level to help with that. Like James said, this is an environmental situation, so we should be able to utilize some of those green dollars that they put in there to help reduce the cost. And my campaign will also be having an announcement pretty soon on assisting with that as well. So stay tuned for that.
David Newton?
Yeah, like Lisa said, I agree that what's important is how we got here. My past councils have delayed it. When it was more affordable, they kicked the can down the road. Now this is where we're at now. We need to not kick the can down any road anymore. We need to take care of the problem now. And by doing that, we need to look at other alternatives of helping the less fortunate. I have personal experience with my family losing their home by being taxed out of it. Okay, so I understand these people that are struggling. We need to find special programs that can help seniors, vets, and these people so they do not lose their home. That's one thing that we cannot allow is our citizens to lose their homes here. This is a beautiful town. We need to help each other out as best we can, and we need to look at all other alternatives. Thank you.
Thank you. Raymond Muley?
Thank you. Once again, I don't think the folks that have already paid, they paid their share. We should not be going back to the well again there. We need to be looking at grants, obviously are important, but let's face it, when we're talking about state, local, federal grants, typically those are going to make up maybe 15, if you're lucky, 20% of any project. It helps, it absolutely helps. So we should definitely leverage with relationships that we have. At the same time, I'd love to be able to say, look, we can go out and issue muni bonds across the board and everybody will pay based on the revenues as more people are coming online. Again, we can't do that to the people who've already paid their bill. What we should also be looking at is the contractors we're using. We should be going broader, bigger. Okay, we need purchasing power if we could get it. Got clobbered by the delays and the ultra high inflation rates that we saw over the past number of years. I'd like to see maybe if we can purchase several UEPs at a time. And then while some of that is cheaper, hopefully we're going to see inflation and prices coming down. Thank you.
Kevin Paulson?
You know, I believe everybody's touched on everything except for a few things. When I came here 12 years ago, I was told it was only going to cost about $20,000 to set it up. Next thing I know, here it is 12 12 years later, we're looking about almost 40. The problem is the people that's already paid for it got it cheaper. Northwest Cape is going to get screwed because they're going to pay 3 times more money. When the city started all this, they did it without having a deadline. When you do a project, you need to set it for a deadline and get the darn thing done. The problem we have now is they sat for 5 years to build up the money to keep pushing on this UEP thing. Then turn around again came in. We had a problem there. Now guess what? Northwest Cape residents are selling their homes because they're now having to pay almost 2 properties for a price of 1. So what we need to do.
Thank you. This is a yes/no question. And the question is, do you support a public referendum for council or mayor pay raise? And the first person is Raymond Mule.
No.
James Vargas.
No.
Sean Hartman.
No.
Senator Thomas Senator.
I like Senator Thomas better. No.
Thomas Shadrach.
Shadrach, no.
Maybe by the end of the night. Jeffrey Holson.
No.
Lisa King.
No.
Annette Warren.
Yes.
David Newby.
No.
And Jennifer Nelson Lasker.
No.
And Joseph Agrisano.
Abricato, no.
The next question. What is your plan for sufficient water supply for Cape Coral as development continues? Noting that we were on many water restrictions. Thomas Shadrach.
Right. I think the city is planned for irrigation water pretty well. We've got the irrigation, the pipeline coming underneath the Caloosahatchee that was paid for by the feds, I think. And then we have bought the reservoir in Charlotte. I'm not sure that was a good idea. We had a long-term lease on it that was paying for that water. So I know we're building the pipeline to bring that all in. So I think irrigation is going to be fairly well covered, but we got to get everybody off the aquifer below them. All our drinking water comes from 800 feet below. That's water that's filtering down from Alabama. That's not a problem as long as we keep digging the wells and finding less salinity water and can bring that up as we expand. All that's in the budget to, on your water bill, to start paying for all that infrastructure now. So I think it's planned out fairly well, but it's all going to be very expensive. All right, thank you.
Raymond Mule.
Thank you. Yes, once again, we did have the issues that we had with the Mid-Hawthorne Aquifer. Quick short-term solution there was we had to put additional restrictions on water usage. And then we're able to reprioritize that section of UEP. We have to stay diligent in being able to do that. Another reason we need to continue to move on UEP, no matter what we do, we cannot slow that down. As Tom had said, we did purchase the reservoir in Charlotte County. We do have the water coming across from Fort Myers, again, for the reclaimed water, for irrigation. And as we continue to put more and more people on UEP, the situation should improve. Again, Mid-Hawthorne has had a tough time. Some of the other aquifers are in better shape. So again, I think we'll have to reprioritize as we go if that continues to become an issue until everybody's on city water.
Thank you. Lisa King.
I think we've talked about the planning a little bit, but I think we also need to be mindful of the preserving our water and also the quality of water. So I think there needs to be a lot more focus on that. We've talked about the conversion, and obviously we understand the importance of that. And some of the things we've done, we're nationally recognized for, converting our wastewater to the irrigation. So there's some things that we're doing really well. We need to keep doing them, but they will cost a lot of money, and we need to make sure that we keep the priorities, if that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. James Vargas.
I think the question is how much is it gonna cost us to actually maintain and have the quality of water? Obviously, we made the purchase and we have the pipelines coming in here. But how much is we gonna have to pay for it, as individuals in this community? Because it seems like, it's the plan, they plan for one thing and then another thing transpires. And at the end of the day, will we know exactly the cost of these upgrades? Everybody says it's gonna be a lot, but how much is a taxpayer gonna spend? That's my question with the whole thing. Thank you.
David Newton.
Yeah, our water, we have one of the best RO systems in the world, but it is getting old. So we are gonna have to do some work in replacing it and fixing it. I don't know if you guys have been out there yet, but like I said, it's one of the best in the world, but it does need some work. We also have Everest that also is very old. That needs a lot of work also. So we need to make sure that we're budgeting for these things. I know it's all in our bill, but also if you look at our bill, a lot of people think we pay a lot for water, but when you look at the whole package, we actually pay less than our neighbors. I've talked to people over in North Fort Myers. The package, the whole thing is less. We might pay more for the water part of it, but when you look at your irrigation and your sewer, my bill is less than someone else over there. Thank you very much.
Sean Hartman.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. What is your plan for a sufficient water supply for Cape Coral as development continues?
So I do think that our city staff and our city manager has been handling that pretty well. I'm not an expert, I'm not a civil engineer on anything like that. But like the other people have said, we have an amazing facilities that we have now. And we're also building a new facility up in North Cape Coral. So just making sure those are maintained, following what the experts are telling us. I think that's the way to go. I'm not an expert at this, so I can't provide expert guidance. But I'm gonna trust in the experts to tell me how the best move forward on this.
Thomas Senator.
Thank you. So one of the questions that would be is, what are we doing about the city water? Right now, we're on city water, and the quality of the water is not really the best. We have a full filtration system. But if we're looking at the horizontal aquifer, we used to be coming at the upper part, where now we're at the middle part. Next thing we'd be going to the lower part. But what happens when we start tapping into all that water? Well, you can't stop people from building homes. People have their property rights. If they have a house up in the north and there's no water and sewer, and they want to build a house, they're gonna have to dig a well. So that's gonna be a problem we have to look into. So we need to really expect it a little quicker. The city is doing their job. We have all these different plants. We have the RO plants. We got the water coming from Fort Myers. We have the reserve, the reservoir coming down. So these are things that are being done. We just gotta do it a little bit faster. Thanks.
Thank you. Joseph Angrisano.
I'll tell you what, for the people that are interested in the local ecology, water supply, floridadrinkingwater.com. There's something called the Floridan Aquifer, and it has a fascinating story in and of itself. I think we're doing the best that we possibly can. I keep thinking that when a project is coming in, we have to look at the water usage of each individual project proposed. Is it stressing the aquifer as it stands? We need to know. The UEP project, of course, that's exactly what this is meant to solve, is the water usage that the city supplies through the RO system will fix a lot of the problem that we're having currently as they're talking about the Hawthorne aquifer. But check out floridadrinkingwater.com. You learn a lot about what's going on with the water quality here in Cape Coral. Thank you.
Jeffrey Huddleston.
We're always talking about how we're worried about the wells drying out and all, especially in the Northwest Cape. The thing about it is we need to look at to educate the people. How many times have you all drove down the road and it's pouring rain and somebody's sprinkler's going off and they're on well water? We need to fix that. That's gonna help us. We got the UEP coming in, but we need to get a project going a little faster. We also need to turn around and look, these new homes being built, every day you're seeing the yard being watered. We need to do some education on the builders. So that's where we're gonna save some stuff. We're gonna be able to help. And I believe that's what we need to look at first. We need to educate the people that's moving in here, because that's where our problem starts. Like,
Thank you, Annette Warren.
We need to continue doing the UEP project. All those straws that are going into the ground right now are pulling a lot of water out. So we gotta eliminate those straws, meaning the individual wells. Once we get those out and the UEP gets going, then we shouldn't have a problem with our, how much water we have. Our levels are already starting to come back up and our water restrictions are starting to go away. So we are currently in a good starting to be in a good shape on how much water we have coming in right now. We just have to continue the UEP.
Jennifer Nelson last.
I'm about to Texas, you're Kentucky. So I agree with what Mr. Huddleston just stated about education, and guess what? It worked. Because our aquifer is back up to normal levels, almost normal levels. And the comment that you made, Mr. Huddleston, regarding the education piece and sprinklers going off, that happens on accident. I can't think of any resident or friend that I know that lives in that area who hasn't had their well go dry over last year and has definitely had their sprinkler system fixed. This is why it is so important not to stop. We cannot pause this. This is our largest opportunity for infrastructure in the city, and I will never, ever support stopping it. What I will support is what we currently do and tenfold, in that we do like procurement. We buy things in bulk. We buy it and lock in the price. We manage that project, we manage that price. I will never vote to stop that because we have to keep going. That's the only thing that's going to fix our water supply, is by getting everybody on city water.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is the final yes/no question before we come to our concluding statements. Yes or no, will you accept any PAC, developer, or building association contribution for your campaign? Beginning with Jennifer Nelson Lottery.
I guess I look at things a little bit, sorry, it was yes or no, I'm sorry. Yes.
You, Jeffrey Huddleston?
what was the question again?
Country Way. Will you accept any PAC, developer, or building association contributions for your campaign?
No.
Thomas Senator,
No.
and is Annette Warren,
Yes.
Raymond Muley,
No.
James Vargas.
No.
David Newton,
Yes.
Lisa King,
Yes,
Sean Hartman,
I already have, so unfortunately, yes.
John Joseph Angrisano,
That's good. No.
Thomas.
No.
Thank you. Okay, closing remarks. I'm really, really happy that you guys have been so cooperative, and this concludes the questions for tonight. As we move into the closing candidates, each candidate will have 60 seconds to make their closing statements. And the first person will be Sean Hartman.
So again, SeanForKidCoral.com. I am running to serve you on the Kid Coral City Council. I'm actually gonna use a little bit more harsher language. I'm running basically to be your slave. I think that we tend to forget, you know, you have a lot of people who want to rule over you in government. I don't want to rule over you. I want you to rule over me. And I think we need public servants in our city council and in our government who listen and obey the people that they are supposed to be serving. And that is what I am doing. I'm running for the city council seat. My family grew up here. I moved here when I was 3 years old. And so I grew up into the city that many of you retired to. So I want to make sure as we grow uniquely Cape Coral. There are so many other issues besides the ones we got a chance to talk about today. So please check out my platform and my DHOA Cape Coral plan for permitting reform. That's at SeanForKidCoral.com. My name is Sean Hartman and I am at your service.
Annette Warren.
Hi, I'm Annette Warren. I am here because I have educated myself. I've gone through the Citizens Academy. I've gone through Leadership Cape Coral. I've learned about LCEC, Waste Pro, local government, county government. I've just spent the time investing my time in our community so that I can be educated and not make the same mistakes that have happened over and over again for the past 30 years. The same mistakes have been being made. I've been paying attention so that we don't have those same mistakes made again. I really want to serve you. I want to make sure that we have the best city possible, and I don't want to waste money on things that are promised and then not allowed to happen. So please just elect me for your next District 6 candidate.
David Newton?
My entire adult life has been serving my country and my community. I believe being a public servant is what serving city council is all about. People's needs come first. Every night I put on the uniform, I would leave my house. I understood the dangers of the job. I did it anyways because I believe some things are worth fighting for and worth defending. Service, sacrifice, and dedication are not only words, they are my principles that I have lived by. I believe Cape Coral deserves strong leadership that is of the people, by the people, for the people. I will listen, I will work hard, and I will never give up, never give in for doing what is right for our citizens. I'd be humbled and honored to earn your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Senator?
Thank you. So here's one difference. I'm not gonna say I will. I'm gonna tell you I have been doing it. So for almost 8 years, I've been serving on the police department as a police volunteer and currently now a supervisor. Okay, I am serving as the vice chair on planning and zoning on my second term. I am serving on the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee on my second term as again vice chair. So I will continue to serve you and do the best because that's what I do the most. I have a whole lifetime of serving and helping people, and I'll continue to do so, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa King?
Thank you again for being here tonight. Lisa King, running for Cape Coral City Council District 6. I too have dedicated my entire life to public service to this community. My children have been raised here. Now my gorgeous grandson is being raised here. So I have a vested interest. I understand government. I understand how to run a private business, and I understand how to run government as if it were a private business because that's the way it should be run. I am looking to make a difference, to bring my leadership back home to Cape Coral and to serve each and every one of you and to ensure that we keep the core essential services as the top of our list in the Cape Coral City government. So thank you, and I look forward to your support and your vote on August 18th. Thank you.
Thomas Shabra?
Shadrack, yeah, forget more. All right, thank you. Appreciate the time and all you guys coming out today. I do want to bring a point that I have no conflicts of interest in this campaign. I'm not, I've never been an employee of the city. I don't have a family member that's employed with the city. I'm not a builder. I'm not a realtor, and I've never had a business in Cape Coral. Strictly wanting to do this job to make this city great, keep it affordable, safe, and grow affordably, okay? I was on the Budget Review Committee. I was chairman of that. We were making good headway before it was dissolved by the council along with all the other boards. I want to make sure they're all brought back. I think it was vitally important to have them. And I want to create a new utility board to know that the timing of all those utility projects are hoped to be timed with growth, paying for growth. So I'd appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you very much. Tom Shadrack for District 1 City Council. Thank you.
Jeffrey Lewison?
Well, thank you all for coming out. My name is Jeff Hubbardston, District 6 City Council. As been told, and I'm gonna say it too, I have no association with any realtors or contractors here. I used to own a business. I know how the mom and pop shops are. I miss the mom and pop shops. I'm here for the people. I'm here for the boys. I enjoy what they tell me. They give me good ideas, and that's what I want to hear. I want to listen to you all to tell me what to do and what to vote on. So elect me, District 6, let me be your voice and you tell me what to do. Thank you.
Jennifer Nelson Lastra.
Thank you. Over the past 2 years on this council, it's, as I mentioned earlier, has been a wild ride. I look at things a little differently. I'm a pretty positive person. I think y'all know that. But I say, when residents reach out to me and they need help, whether they have a fire sprinkler issue or a building permit issue, I utilize my relationships and my trust that I've received from the unions, from other elected officials, from my friends in Tallahassee, because oftentimes residents need help that goes beyond our jurisdiction. And I utilize that. So people may say, well, you know, you're going to be beholden to them. Well, no, because really, I need them. I need them a lot because they're the ones that I can directly put in front of the residents who have the issues. I'm honored to continue to serve in District 4. I often hear all the time, new is better, shiny and new is better. And that may be true, but I think if you look at my voting record, it'll speak for itself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joseph Angrisano.
Thank you very much, everybody. Full disclosure, floridadrinkingwater.com is my website. I built that myself. Take a look. Also, red tide is bad tide. You'll enjoy those websites. I'm very concerned about the ecosystem. As a candidate with zero conflicts, zero connections to the current administration, I'm committed to fiscal responsibility, transparent government, and smart growth that protects our quality of life. I will fight to fix our infrastructure, support our first responders, keep taxes reasonable, and put Cape Coral residents first, always. I'm not a politician. I'm a taxpayer, trained problem solver, and a neighbor who is ready to bring common sense and accountability to the city of Cape Coral. On August 18th, I humbly ask for your vote. Government works best when it listens. Leadership works best when it welcomes scrutiny. And democracy works best when every resident has a seat at the table. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, James Argus.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming this evening. Like I said earlier, I'm the new kid on the block. Just not in the only sense of that I've been here for 3 years, but I literally started my campaign a little bit over a month ago. And during that time, what I've noticed the most important aspect of this campaign is the most important aspect of government in general, and that's the people. The problem that we have right now is that there's a disconnection between the people and the government that they serve, the government. Reminder is that it's we the people, not we the government or we for the people. And once we get that, we put the people back in the center as well as the podium, and start giving the people the respect that they're due and invite them to their own table, bring them back to the forefront. There's nothing that we can't accomplish. We are a strong city. I love all the people here, and I'm not blowing any kind of smoke, but I'm really speaking 100% truth. This is the place that's given me purpose. It's has me and my wife wanting to plan to have our grandkids grow up here someday too. But it starts with affordability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Lee. How could I do that?
And I promise, I scribbled some notes down to make it shorter. So I'm gonna trouble.
Hold them to it.
All right. Well, this election isn't about politics. It's about people. It's about our neighbors, our families, and making sure City Hall never forgets who it truly serves, you. I'm not running to build a bigger government. I'm running because I care deeply about this community. And if I can keep up with my notes, I'll be good. About creating a place where families feel safe, where businesses can grow, where neighborhoods are valued, and where every voice is heard and respected. If you place your trust in me, I promise to be present, to listen, and to serve with integrity. I will never forget that my responsibility is to you, the citizens, not special interests, not to politics, but to you. Together, we can continue building a Cape Coral that we're proud to call home, that place where we look out one another, work towards a brighter future. Thank you, God bless you, and I humbly ask for your vote.
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Lee, I want to thank all of the candidates for running for this office and for your participation in this evening. I want to thank the audience for coming to meet the candidates. For more information on upcoming elections, please visit the League's vote411.org, where you will find information on candidates and the ballot measures and links to other sources of information about the upcoming election. Primary candidate information will be available on our website in mid-July or next week. Members of the League of Women Voters do the hands-on work to safeguard democracy. We never endorse a candidate. We are directly involved in assuring that our community is aware of and understands the issues facing our counties and the state. Sign up for the League email updates tonight or through www.LWVLee.org. This forum was recorded and the link will be available on the Lee's website, www.LWVLee.org. For the audience, please tell your friends and family and colleagues that they have a chance to still learn about the candidates by watching the recorded forum. Remember, the deadline to register to vote in the primary is July 20th. If you haven't done so, please do so. The deadline to request a mail-in ballot for the primary is August 6th. And remember that you have to request a vote by mail ballot each election cycle. Thank you for becoming informed and being an informed voter. Remember to vote in the August 18th primary election. Let's give our candidates the last laugh. Remember, your voice is your vote is your voice, and make it heard. Please take a few minutes to talk to your candidates.